You can go and get clip art from your computer, and that will give you a good idea of how to draw what it is that you want to carve. Drawing in these blue squares represents the block of wood that I want to carve out of. Drawing in blue pencil is a good way to lay out your drawing. When you get over to the copier, it'll come out very light or not at all, and then you can come back later with some black line that will copy really well. Make sure all your features line up. These fins need to line up from the top view to that side view. And here's where I go to the felt marker. I like the felt marker for bandsaw cutting because you don't need detail, you just need a really heavy line that you can see real well while you're cutting on the bandsaw. I try to remember to put my website and my name on the plans that I draw up so people can find them later. Go ahead and make copies and then proof it. Make sure that it's all coming out the way you want. I forgot to draw in a fin, so I'm going to draw the fin there, and then I'm going to recopy it and use whiteout if you need to. Make it all nice. After your plans are to your satisfaction, go ahead and cut them out along the block lines. You'll need the top view and the side view so you can glue them onto your block. My block happens to be just big enough for 2, so I'm going to cut it on the bandsaw so I can save the wood for the saw curve, and then I'm going to cut them together as 2 pieces. Now I'm going to tape them up, so as I cut them, I'll cut 2 at a time. Spread the glue out kind of even, and then the side view is going to be my first. I want to leave some material at the top so the off-fall stays in one piece, and then I'll tape it back on so I can do the other. Now this last cut across the top is going to make the 2 pieces loose, so you got to be careful that they don't slide around on each other. The tape's holding them right now, but as soon as it comes out, they're going to be separate. My bandsaw has no brake, so I'll use one of the pieces of wood to slow it down on the back edge. It's nice if your blade's not coasting while you tape it together. I line everything up, both of them, the top one and the bottom one. I'm going to cut both at the same time. I'll tape them back together so they don't slide around. Oh, and by the way, I use a 3/16 skip tooth saw blade on my bandsaw. It's a grooved top guide only. Glue the top pattern back on and make sure that it lines up to the side view. You want fins to be in the same spot. Notice I bandsaw the shortcuts that I can get the bandsaw blade back out easily, and then after I get these shortcuts put in, then I'll come back in and I'll do the long cuts, and then the piece will fall out. If you do them one at a time, you can cut this out on a scroll saw. You have to do one at a time and use a really coarse blade, but you can do it all on a scroll saw as well as a bandsaw. And don't forget, using masking tape like I do, they'll come loose as you cut those pieces away, so you got to make sure that they stay together. If you don't want to worry about them coming loose using tape, you can always use a little dab of hot glue in between, and then they'll stay together really good. And try to always start with a sharp knife. I keep my knife fairly sharp, so a quick stropping will make it ready to go.
Hurry up. Yeah. It's all done. Yeah. It's all done. Yeah, see?
Now I'm going to mark out where I'm going to cut the fins, and if you put in center lines, it'll help you keep everything symmetrical. Right here I'm going to cut in a V cut, leaving enough flat for the base, but I want the fins to angle up, and then I'm going to round the bottom just a little bit. You also might notice that I have to keep the shavings off the kitty. He thinks I'm just petting him, but it's really just keeping the shavings off. Now I'm going to speed it up to 8 times faster than I carved. This whole carving took me about 45 minutes from this point to the finished detail. Right in here, I'm just rounding off the body, keeping everything nice and rounded. The tail needs to be shaped out. And right here, carving up from the fin seems to be a good grain direction. Right in here, I've got to work around those fins. The direction of your cut is really important. If you're going against the grain, you need to switch it and go with the grain. You'll be able to feel it. If the knife catches, you need to turn it around, pull it the other direction. I always try to leave the most delicate part of the carving till last, so you don't break it. The tail comes last. Right in here, it looks like I'm going really fast, but I'm taking really small cuts because that tail is really weak. It's got a lot of cross grain in it, so you got to just pull off real thin slivers, and that way you hopefully won't break it. Now it's starting to look really good, so I'm going to take time to draw some face details and maybe even pet the kitty. Now I've got to get up and chase down my veiner so I can run those details that I just drew. Finally, now we're all done after all of that work. Thank you so much, everybody. May I have your attention, please? You can find the plans for free on my website. Thanks for watching.